How's it going? Today I'm gonna make the analysis of the sheet music of the song Odeon. If you don't know it, this is more or less the song. Sorry, I didn't warm up myself yet, but I'm gonna talk about different subjects in it. If you don't read very well, this can be for you because I'm gonna show a technique that I use to learn language from sheet music that I didn't study it yet, so it can be interesting for your reading. But I'm gonna talk about some aspects of the language, and you don't have to play the song to understand what I'm gonna talk in this live. I invite you to stay because this is a practice that can improve your language in playing Brazilian music, and also to understand a way to get more language, to search for ideas, for musical textures, so it can be interesting for you that are an advanced student, and also if you are a beginner that knows how to read but doesn't read very well. Alright? So I'm gonna put the first page and you're gonna realize that I played differently of what's written already. Let me show you. This is the first page of the song Odeon. And for if you don't read it very well, this can seem to be very difficult. But what I recommend for you that are beginning in reading music, I recommend you to search for recordings and try to play, finding where the pianist is. For example, you can see a lot of chords at the beginning of the piece, and you can, if you don't know how to read rhythm, for example, you can count and hear the recording, play, and when you lose yourself, just return and begin again. Try sometimes, if you feel tired, just return on the next day. You'll be more able in the next day to find where the pianist is playing. And why to do that? This can be interesting because you're gonna start to have a clear idea of what hand the pianist is using to play, in what range of the piano he's playing, what belongs to the left or the right hand. So you're gonna have an idea that can leave you much more inside the song. It's much more than just hearing. I started to do this with some orchestra scores, and it's incredible how reading the music together improves our musical perception. At the beginning I lose myself a lot of times, but I realized that I have to give myself more chances of finding myself, and so this process starts to be natural, and you are gonna be able also to understand the musical ideas that are behind of what is being played, because you are seeing the music, you are seeing a graphic that represents the music, so you can see, you can recognize patterns, you can see you can see what's similar to other part. You can see what's being played with 5 notes at the same time or 2 notes. A lot of symbols will be easy to you, and so I recommend you can start with this song of Ernesto Nazaré. It's written in a simple way. I'm gonna play you more or less what's written. I'm sorry. And so it goes. The rhythm is always the same. If you look to the score, you're gonna realize that the right hand is doing a chord. It's repeated in a repeated rhythm, and the melody will be on the left hand. You're gonna realize that the left hand has a rhythmic pattern, but it's changing. It's changing much more than the right hand that's doing a pattern. Just at the end of the second system, if you don't know what is a system, it's like the line, musical line. You have the first with two clefs, treble clef and bass clef, and going to the next is the second system. The last measures, the melody goes to the right hand. You have this conclusion, alright? But if you realize in terms of rhythm, we have a rhythmic pattern. And what we can say about this rhythmic pattern? It's melodical in the left hand, and in the right hand we have a musical layer that I've told in my last live. That is the musical layer that does subdivision. This subdivision, it's been playing just on the upbeat, but it's creating some swing. So we have a melody with chords on. We hear the harmony, but it's playing a rhythm that creates swing to the song. Note how interesting it is. And for advanced musicians, when we see some pattern being played, we can recognize that we can change this pattern for another patterns of this style. For example, a common pattern of the old choro, or the similar styles with choro, like machixe, or even samba, you can, for example, change this pattern for this. Or, for example, a variation that's common in choro. This is a pattern, not a variation, but you can use this variation that I'm gonna show now. Return to. So you can already create some freedom in your execution because you are recognizing the patterns. The same thing with melody. Maybe this is gonna be a little more difficult because it's gonna change the fingering. But for example, so I have to study to do this better. This rhythm will not sound very good. You can create a lot of different new ideas for your playing. Alright? So if you realize, you're gonna notice this pattern of beat in the whole, almost in the first three systems, and in the last one we're gonna notice one other, that is this. So this is very common on choros playing in the language of Ernesto Nazaré, that you start playing one note, a chord with one note out of the chord that will return to the chord. it's like if in the beginning of the song. So I'm taking a pattern that it's inside the song, and I'm already applying to other parts of the song. And this is the way that I started to create some freedom in the execution of this choro music. All right, for many people, if you hear for the classical musicians playing it, you're gonna realize that they always play what's written, and there is a difference that I think that's important. Just let me close the screen here. There is a difference that I think that's important, and I think it sounds out of the language, that classical musicians often play varying the tempo. They play in slow tempos. They start to be faster, and the problem of doing this it's that the swing of the choro, it comes from the precision of its play. If you play a rhythmic precise, there is a very interesting but on purpose imprecisement that we can talk later, but the rhythm doesn't change though the tempo, and this gives richness and life to this play. So I don't recommend to do like the classical musicians, playing, slowing down, going faster. Try to certain tempo and play all the piece inside this tempo. All right. What else more? Let's continue seeing what comes next. So you've seen this first part, and after that let's go to the second page. The second page, it's gonna sound like this. I'm gonna do more or less what's written, because during my life I'm always searching changes. I'm sorry for the mistakes. What is important to see in this page? If you see in the left hand, most of the time you're gonna find this pattern. And that is a moment that you're gonna see that the left hand starts to do some intervals playing together. So it's gonna return. What is happening on the left hand that it changed the pattern? The left hand changed the extension and changed the musical layer that's being played. In one moment, it's playing the harmonic layering style with a bass, but it's a high bass. It's a higher bass note. Change the layer, it comes for another behavior. It's another rhythm. It's a variation, but it seems like to be a more similar to a bass or to something low. So. This is a very important thing that you may notice in the behavior of the pianist. It's the change of the behavior of the left hand during the different extensions. If they are playing very low, probably you're gonna see octaves or single notes. If they play more less low than this, you're gonna start to see intervals. So if you're gonna a little more up, you're gonna realize that you can find more chords. So I always say to my students to notice the different behavior during along the octaves. All right. What else? In the right hand, you're gonna notice also a pattern that's almost made by syncopations. And some syncopations without the first note. So return to the old syncopation. So note that it's a very easy to memorize pattern. So for beginners, it will be good to play because they don't have to worry themselves with rhythm, but for advanced players, it's a very good opportunity to find another patterns, to find variations, to create some interest in rhythm. So I always recommend you to learn the score, how it's written, and start after that searching for variations that will sound inside the Brazilian language. So you're creating life to this rhythm. Besides doing I've done, anticipate the melody. So you can start seeing variations, hearing where do I find the variations? Hearing more choro. Alright, if you hear more choro, you're gonna see the freedom that the melodic musicians play this melody. It's not very common here to hear pianists doing variation, but the other melodic instruments like saxophone or mandolin or flute, mainly mandolin, flute, accordion, you're gonna see the melody is being played with a lot of spontaneity. All right. So at the last distance of this page, you're gonna find the start of the C section. That will be. It starts with a pickup bar. Note that I'm not reading. When you memorize some song, when you start to read again, it's a little confusing sometimes. And what can we find here in this page? We're gonna have a pattern between like a convention played by all the instruments during accent for the melody, and so it's gonna be starting a pattern. It's a pattern it's a reduction of the main pattern of choro that would read like that, but we took off the middle note of the syncopation. So, besides Julie, this would be the common, so we take off. Let me turn the page for you to see a little more of the slides page, and let me show you more. So in the second system you're gonna see note that the melody is so we can create some different interpretations of this. Or what else? What else we could create? Sorry. Very bad when I memorized and I'm trying to read. Wow. And this is common. Sometimes you are well, you took so many time reading just playing by heart. When you read, it's a disaster. It's very normal. What else more? Here we can see this pattern on the lower part. That when I become more low, the sound, the pattern is being loosed. On the first ending, you're gonna see in the left hand. All right, the right hand is always almost doing the same pattern. It's good for, like I told you, it's good for beginners, but it's a very nice opportunity to advanced musicians to create their own variations, to improvise and to do things that we're gonna continue sounding inside the Brazilian language. So so you can take advantage of this repetition. And very good question. This recording is very easy to know. It's just write Odeon, ODE ON in YouTube. You're gonna find a lot of recordings, but of the sheet being played. You're gonna there is just one that I recommend very much, that it's another arrangement of Odeon played by Hercules Gomes or Hercules Gomes. You can write on YouTube. You're gonna see a very interesting variation that he arranged for this, and it sounds more modern, and it's very powerful because he wrote a very advanced arrangement for this. But besides this, version, you're gonna find just versions of classical musicians, especially playing this arrangement like it's written. And sometimes, like I've told you, during they are doing some variations on the tempo, on the beat that I think sounds very good. But because when you hear, when you go off in a circle of shuttle players, you're gonna see them playing very precisely, with swing but precisely. So I recommend you to play in tempo, alright? Don't lose the tempo. Try to find a tempo that you play from the beginning to the end of the piece and study on it. And if you want to play more faster, always see the difficultest part of the song and use it to equalize the tempo you're gonna play. Always think before starting what is the most difficult part of the piece. Alright? I don't know if this analysis it's very superficial for you, or it's very hard to understand. So for who watched this video till the end, I would say give your opinion, leave your opinion on the comments. This will be very helpful to me to understand what do I need to talk with you. What do I need to, if I need to go deeper, or if I need to talk about just one measure, just the first four bars of the music. So I want to know more about you, and so I invite you to follow this channel, and with your comments you'll be very welcome to help me to do a more precise content for you. Alright? I hope you have enjoyed this, and see you for more lives about Brazilian accent improvisation and for more quick tips every day here in this channel. I'm Luciano Ruas, and thanks for watching. Obrigado, tchau.